Okay, quick trade recap. Where the fuck am I? Okay, so coming into session today, still bullish, right? Nothing on the 4 hour. On the 1 hour here, we had this high time frame fair value gap, which was nearly initially respected, but then we had poor bearish price action, and then bullish, and it was inversed around 6 p.m. Right? Wait, no, that's also an hourly fair value gap. This one is also an hourly fair value gap. Just remember that. My throat's fucking killing me. Upon open, we had price turn bullish. I had a bullish bias, but not for really any good. Like, we get this 15-minute inverse with poor price action, as you can see. And then when it started pumping bullish, I was like, oh, it'll just sweep Asian highs here. And then turn bearish. It did not. So from there, we were then bullish, especially as it inversed this 15 here. But there was no real entry, because down here, all it did was tap an order block. Here we get an internal divergence at the top after fully filling this imbalance, which does make sense because the imbalance is filled. Now it will have a little retracement. That does make a little bit of sense into the imbalance created, right? So we get the sweep, and then we get the breaker structure bearish on 705, so 710, 709. Then we get the respect bearish 729, 26, sorry. Short on this candle. Stops will be just above. And probably shooting for the top of the fair value gap or the middle, but probably just the top, because shit like this happens. And nah, that's that. Wow. Yeah, so that's about it actually. Just this internal sweep. There was no good price action for this apart from the actual sweeping candles, which is good to see. That is what you want to see, the sweeping candles being good price action. But, and it does make sense because it happens after filling the imbalance fully, and then it comes back down to this 15-minute imbalance, which it doesn't fill to halfway, which is just fucking, like, I marked out the hourly. It's not like it's a 4 hourly. No. And then there's no fucking, there's nothing in here, just a tiny one there, little one here, doesn't reach them. Just kinda buns. So there's nothing on the way up here for this internal divergence yet. There was a position, could have been there. Next time we'll be dialed for that. Trust, we will fucking in this shit. And then just from the price action, I could tell it's going to continue bullish here, because we get the inverse of this. Now it's just retracing with shitty bearish price action just to refill some of this imbalance it's created. And as you can see, it didn't even refill much, if any, on ES, because it just wants to get higher with this good price action. You can see, you can really see the difference here on the 15, you know. But I was looking for some longs here, but there just isn't anything. You get the inversion of the 5 here, but it's like, it's not, doesn't mean shit. Also get the inversion of the 1 plus the actual 1 created. No retracement. Neither is there on ES. So, yeah. And there is, I'm pretty sure there's no 5s. There is a tiny 5, but it doesn't get tapped into, so, yeah. Bullish breaker structure occurs at 8:20. From there, we do get the topmost fair value gap respected. And so, and they do say, they do, some people really preach the bottommost fair value gap, but some people just go with this and the one that runs. So, fuck, it's hard. Normally, I would do the, if it doesn't come to the furthest fair value gap, and because this isn't a sweep, actually, because it isn't a sweep, that's probably good, but you definitely still account for the imbalance. And what would you shoot for these tops here? Yeah, it makes sense, because then it sweeps them, give a little bearish reaction, and continues topside. Okay, that makes sense. Because we get the continuation. I know it's going to be continuation. I'll show you. PA is good for sweep. Wait, what am I talking about? Divergence topside with ES. PA is def against bias, yeah. Def still bullish with the inverse of the higher time frame fair value gap on the left and with the slow bearish price action. Well, as you can see, we have the inverse on the left here. Slow bearish PA, good bullish PA out of it. And as you can see, that's the respect of the fair value gap there. Yes, sir, can tell she's bullish. Yeah, you really can tell it's bullish. Maybe you ride them out to fucking... Do you? Who knows? We shall see. Let me set an alert. See if it hits through New York. But that's that. This would be like a continuation, actually, yeah. Okay, so that's good to see. Alright. Time to get in some positions, baby. We got this shit. So we had the internal divergence at the top, which you potentially could fuck with because it's a divergence, which is good. Good 1 minute PA. It would be a very short term position because we're against the bias. Good 1 minute PA for the sweep, but we're definitely against the bias. So, but then we have all the other signs. We have price break structure bearish on ES, not even NAS till later, but on ES, and then respects 1 minute perfectly. Yeah, just a short term thing, but would work. Especially with the instant reaction straight away. It's always good to see. So that's that. And then after we have the continuation on NAS because price gets a bit further in there. Okay, good to see.